from the United Kingdom. My son was born with a cardiac disease. He has undergone 2 surgeries now, one in India and one in the UK. After the one in the UK, he had a cardiac arrest at post-surgery, and in fact, it was it wasn't an easy one for him because he started having arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, which led to cardiac arrest. But thankfully, thanks be to God, he was brought back within 2 minutes of life. But after the surgery, he had more complications. He started having leaking valve. The doctors were like, there's nothing they could do about it because nobody wanted to operate on him for the 3rd time. They said he might not survive. So our only option was to turn to God. And this was last year, 2023, January. Jidena stayed in the hospital for 4 good months, and he was asleep, sedated for almost 2 months. He woke up at the end of the 2nd month, and I mean, all was not well because he has been sleeping for some time now, and he lost his motor movements. He lost his he didn't know how to sit again. He didn't know how to stand. He started relearning everything over again. I was the one that gave the testimony that the doctor said he wasn't going to work. Suddenly, when you were preaching on the Sunday morning, Jidena stood up and started working. I don't know if you can remember. This testimony focuses on this year. This year, 2024, Jidena had infection, a very serious infection that he was really coughing, really coughing, and that was in February. In January, we went to the hospital where admitted in the hospital for almost a week, and there he was also diagnosed of anemia, iron deficiency. So and that's not a good thing for people with heart conditions. So it made his heart worse. His heart became enlarged, really enlarged, that nobody wanted to operate on him anymore. Well, I was even praying to God that he shouldn't undergo any other operation. And so when the doctors were saying nobody wanted to operate on him, I was like, oh, thank God. It's a good thing. I mean, at this point, where the doctors they don't have anything to do, this is where God steps in. My husband and I continue praying and praying and praying. Before his birthday, we were sent home, and I was thanking God that, oh, Jidena didn't spend his birthday this year in the hospital. And while I was taking pictures with him, something just kept on saying in my heart that I was scared taking the pictures because he has never really had a photo shoot. So something was just, my mind was just playing pranks with me that I'm taking pictures for my son's funeral. I said, no, God forbid, I reject it in the name of Jesus. Pastor Jerry, a week after his birthday, we were rushed back to the hospital because this cough lasted for almost 2 months and he didn't want to go. It was just there. It was becoming worse and we didn't know what to do anymore. We were rushed back to the hospital with ambulance because his oxygen level became 50 something, and when we got to the hospital, his heart, they did echo for him and his heart was just this big, and the doctors were scared. So we had a meeting with the doctors and they told us that Jidena was not going to leave. They are sorry that they can't do anything about it anymore. I was the first person to take that news, and that was on the 25th of May. On the 25th of May, before we went to the hospital, while we're doing the NSPPD prayer, you kept on saying something. You said something that in the throne room verdict, we do not cry. In the throne room verdict, that we do not cry. I was not prepared for what I was going to hear about concerning my son that day. But when we went to the hospital on Tuesday of that week, the doctors told me everything, and surprisingly, I did not cry in their front because I kept on remembering that word. In the throne room verdicts, we do not cry. I didn't have time to cry because I just kept on declaring that the Lion of Judah has prevailed. The Lion of Judah has prevailed. The Lion of Judah has prevailed. While we were going home, Jidena became more sick. They had to refer us to a hospice. We were put on palliative care, and finally, when we were discharged from the hospital, the doctors were like, from Jidena's countenance, the doctors were like, he might not even make it to the next weekend, the next week. I just kept on praying. I cried to God, oh Lord, show me mercy. I kept on praying. Jidena was just there. He wasn't walking. He wasn't moving. He was really sick. I could see it. He was really, really sick. We're sent home with oxygens. We're sent home with palliative care goods and everything. He was even taking morphine. He was taking paracetamols. He was taking diamorphine, just to make the pain go away and let him pass without any pain. Kept on praying on the altar of fire. I kept on praying. The next week, Pastor Jerry, that he thought my son was going to die. Jidena stopped coughing. Jidena stopped using his oxygen on Sunday, or I think it was on Saturday. Stopped using his oxygen. He stopped coughing. Jidena started moving. He came down from the chair where he's always sitting down. He came down from the chair to go and get one of his toys. Everything started aligning. Things started falling in place. The hospice team that came the previous week, when they saw Jidena, they were amazed. They were like, "Is this the Jidena we saw before he went home?" I was like, "Yes, this is the Jidena." We were given an appointment because, I mean, the news got to the doctors that Jidena was still alive. We were given an appointment to, on the 31st of May. We prayed towards that day. When we got to the hospital, the doctor said that they were thrilled at how Jidena is like recuperating, and like he's doing so well, running up and down, playing, jumping, laughing. I want to thank you, Pastor Jerry, for this platform once again. You've given us a platform to pray and pray out ourselves. Pray to God, pray out. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. What God cannot do, really.